Finish up today's episode with Impact Wrestling. And again, I'm not trying to troll with spoilers or anything like that. I'm actually not even going to get into a lot of the matches, but I'm just expressing as a fan my problems with what went down the last 48 hours. First off, look, people have won titles and lost them a day or two later. It's not anything new. So I was excited to see Pentagon as champion. It's not a household name, but still it was something different, and it got a lot of praise online. Now, the one thing you have to understand is that just because people online are praising it doesn't mean that they're the ones actually putting money into Impact Wrestling's product. They're not buying the pay-per-views, they're not buying the merchandise, they're just looking at it as a fan. But as far as perception goes, I mean, everything coming out of that pay-per-view was, for the most part, positive. I mean, it really was. And all I know is that after the word got out of the Impact tapings from yesterday, not even 48 hours later, people, for the most part, were not happy. And sure, on television, this might look a hell of a lot better. But right now, Impact Wrestling doesn't have 2.5 million viewers. They're not getting a large number of buys. They're trying to sell a pay-per-view $40 a pop where they don't even do it every month. So you want to feel like you got your money's worth. And it's not just, and this is what I think Anthem has got to understand. It's not just you spend $40 and then you're like, wow, that was a great night of fucking wrestling. It was money well spent. You want that person to continue viewing, continue being a fan, continuing, what they liked about Pentagon winning and others. And trust me, I'm not this tremendous fan of Pentagon in any way, shape, or form. But the problem is that when you see certain things go down on the pay-per-view that you just spent money on, and then all of a sudden the following night or 2 nights later, everything is just thrown away or completely changed. All right? Yeah. And this is why I joked around with people online. Pentagon might end up being champion for 2 months because they may not air the title change for a month or two. Now, realistically, I think it's only going to be a couple of weeks. But still, in reality, he is no longer champion. So you're going to have, this is so important. You're going to have 2 weeks of tapings, 4 weeks of tapings, 6 weeks of tapings. And even though he's on television still as the champion, you knew after 47 hours he's no longer champ. So explain to me the excitement of seeing it. There's not enough people who are just watching simply because they love wrestling. You got to get behind the characters. You got to get behind the storylines. You got to get behind the title reigns. Sure, this is entertainment. Sure. It's choreographed, if you want to use that word. All right. Yes, wins or losses are predetermined, but usually you want to get behind a winner and you want to get behind someone's reign. If you didn't give a shit, I know a lot of people say, titles don't mean nothing. Titles don't mean nothing. But if titles truly didn't mean anything, then would you care if Daniel Bryan's champion again or not? Did you see what people are writing immediately after? Wow, what a step down for Daniel Bryan. Big Cass, the fuck is that? He should be champion. He should be fighting for the title. Everybody out there that feels that Braun Strowman should be champion right now, if the belts don't mean anything, then what do you care? Seriously, think about that. So you really, in all actuality, you want to get behind champions. You want to get behind winners. It's just natural instinct as a human being. You want to get behind a winner. You want to get behind a champion. You feel there's an accomplishment. You feel that there's an acknowledgement. You feel that there's some type of reward, that you're giving that person the ball and tell them to run with it. And then, meanwhile, you watch it week in and week out on TV. EC3 was my most recent example. I'm a fan of EC3. I mean, it's documented online when people still said that this guy sucked. I said, this guy's money. This guy just needs a little more seasoning. He's going to be a major star. I'm not saying it to be like, oh, I was right. I mean, a lot of people predicted that. But what I'm saying is that although I'm a big fan of EC3, it's kind of little like, not all that, exciting that he's being advertised for several weeks on Impact. But meanwhile, he already debuted on NXT. Meanwhile, we already know that he's gone. When they're advertising, the loser leaves the Impact match, we already know the outcome. So unless you have fans saying, oh my God, that was a fucking 5-star match, you got to tune in tonight. You got to go check it out. All right, there's not enough people out there that have that mentality. So when I see the Impact tapings 47 hours later and seeing that there's 3 title changes already, I'm like, wow, that kind of sucks. But here's where again, I understand the logistics part of it. But when you got fans in attendance that are leaving there, not even 10 minutes, and they're writing shit online, you know, this felt ass backwards, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just give you a little bit of details, right? Not even a half an hour into the show yesterday. Might have been the second match recorded, third tops. Pentagon lost the heavyweight title back to Austin Aries. Okay, fine. Austin Aries is now the Impact Grand Champion. What was the final match? I believe was the final match recorded last night. Pentagon Jr. and El Hijo del Fantasma versus Matt Sydal and Austin Aries. Why am I mentioning that match? Because Pentagon Jr. came out with the title. So at the beginning of the night, he lost the belt. And then at the end of the night, they're advertising him as the champion. So they did ass backwards. Instead of doing the tag. Now, for all we know, and I know not one person has said this, not one. And I'm sure, I don't read everybody's stuff. I'm sure somebody said it, but I haven't read one. For all we know, as ridiculous as this sounds, maybe Matt Sydal or El Hijo del Fantasma was taking a shit. Maybe somebody wasn't in the building. Maybe something happened backstage, just logistics, and they were forced to change the positioning of the match during the night. Maybe the tag match was supposed to air earlier in the night, and the title change was supposed to close it out. We don't know. But I will just tell you from what we do know is that the night started with him dropping the title, and the night ended with him still being the title. So people being the champion, people like, what the fuck is this ass backwards stuff? Can't get away with it with Impact Wrestling. You get away with it with WWE. You get away with it with other promotions, where there's a lot more positive momentum and there's money coming in and there's some buzz. You could probably get away with it in New Japan. You might get away with it for Ring of Honor because their fans are hardcore. You don't have a tremendously big hardcore audience. And here's where I'll leave it. Pentagon Jr., Lucha Underground, House of Hardcore, these are other promotions that do have positive vibes amongst them. Lucha Underground, absolutely. House of Hardcore, Dreamer is doing great. So you're getting them involved with Impact Wrestling. You, at the end of the day, are trying to get that audience that tunes into Lucha Underground, even if it's only 10,000 fans, which I know it's not, but any fans that are watching Lucha Underground, you want to attract them to check out Impact Wrestling. Fans that are into House of Hardcore, that maybe just hear about the results and never see any of the matches. And, it wasn't a big presence on the card, but there's still some. You want to get those House of Hardcore fans to start watching Impact Wrestling and stick to Impact Wrestling. And within 48 hours, you got the heavyweight champion that everybody associates with Lucha Underground and Mexican wrestling already dropping the title. Is that going to keep that fan base really, attached to it? Now, for all we know, there could be another set of tapings very, very soon, and Pentagon wins the belt back. They may have had no intention on giving them the belt back, and maybe after some of this backlash online, no pun intended, they changed their mind. Like, all right, you know what? Let's put the belt back on them. And then they may totally shift the fucking matches around where, you'll have this match airing first week and then second week and just totally out of whack. So my point is that, I'm not happy with what went down at the tapings yesterday. Even if the matches are great on TV, I still am not happy with just the vibe about it. And yes, another set of tapings may change some of that. So I tell everyone, let's take a step back. Let's give them a little bit of time. It's still only, not even 24 hours since this tapings took place. So things could change and amend itself. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I've been wanting to get behind this product for a while. I am somewhat a fan of Impact Wrestling. I'm not going to lie. It's not one of, my favorite promotions to watch, but there are enough talents there from Austin Aries to others that I absolutely enjoy. I have spoken out with just the terrible way that WWE handled Austin Aries when he was on 205 Live. So they do have some great talents there. So it's not that I don't want to watch it because it's Impact Wrestling, formerly TNA. No, there's a lot of talents on there. But again, you could have a great actor in a bad movie. Some people will watch that movie even though the movie sucks simply because they like the actor. All right? With wrestling, it's not the same. Hardcore audience, yeah. But hardcore audience is not going to pay the bills the way Anthem needs it to. So